This is Triple Divide Peak in Montana. Triple Divide Peak is special because rain and melting snow can flow west to the Pacific Ocean, north to the Arctic Ocean, or east to the Atlantic Ocean. And this is us. We're four friends following the water from Triple Divide Peak, 3,500 miles by canoe to the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean. This is the story of our rivers on the river.
What are you doing? You can't possibly need all those clothes. 3 hats and all those sweaters? Where are you going? The North Pole?
No, but I do need all these clothes. Fall is officially here. The trees are changing colors, the birds are migrating south, the reptiles and amphibians are going into warm burrows under the ground, and I am like a squirrel. I'm getting lots and lots of fur so that I can survive the winter.
This week, we traveled south to my hometown of Kansas City, Kansas. Kansas is our 7th state.
And as we canoe down the river, we're watching nature prepare for winter, and we're preparing too.
This week on the river, we're going to learn about how animals survive winter, especially because they can't go to a thrift shop and buy lots and lots of clothes. Let's start with birds, because every day we see lots and lots of birds. Aaron loves birds, so he told us a thing or two about bird migrations.
Birds are pretty interesting creatures. They spend their life in 2 different parts. They have their summer home and their winter home. They go up north for the summer where there's lots of food, and then they head down south during the winter.
Why do birds go south for the winter?
If you've ever been in the northern part of the United States in the summer, you know the days are really long. So plants can grow fast, and there are a ton of insects. Sometimes there's so many insects, it can kind of make you go crazy. But when winter comes in, the days get shorter and there's less sun, so the plants stop growing so fast, and it gets so cold, that can make you go crazy. Now, if you were an animal that only ate insects, would you want to live up in the north in the summer or the winter?
In the summer, because it would be like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Would you want to live there in the winter too?
No way, because it would be so cold and there would be no food for me to eat.
So, where would you want to live in the winter?
I'd go south.
You're as smart as a bird. Lots of birds spend their summers up in the north and then migrate south for the winter. The birds that we're seeing right now are preparing for their migration down south.
Oh, and we're kind of migrating too, because we spent our summer in the north, enjoying the wildlife and the long summer days and the sunshine. And now it's fall, we're heading south to escape the cold and to get to the Gulf of Mexico.
Well, are you ready to be amazed? The pelicans we've been seeing are migrating south on the same route we are, down the river to the Gulf of Mexico. And so are the cormorants that fly over us all the time. They are also headed to the Gulf of Mexico. And we've seen thousands of Bonaparte's gulls, and some are headed to the Gulf, but others are headed to Cuba and Mexico.
Wait, and Aaron, don't forget monarchs, the other flying migrant.
Of course! Monarchs are traveling further than us. They migrate to central Mexico.
Can you believe this monarch is going to fly to Mexico?
Yeah! Butterflies and birds are that cool!
So lots of birds prepare for winter by flying away. But what do reptiles, amphibians, and mammals do? Because they can't grow wings.
Different animals adapt to winter coming in different ways. Snakes and frogs burrow under the ground and slow their metabolism way down, so they don't have to eat much of anything.
Some animals hibernate or grow thick fur coats, but not even my beard's enough to keep me warm in the winter. So humans are mammals too, and we build things like buildings, we have fireplaces, we wear warm clothes to keep us warm in the winter. And if we're on a canoe trip, we might even migrate south with the birds.
But how do the birds know how to migrate south? And how do the snakes know to go underground?
In order to survive the winter, species adapt in different ways. Those adaptations don't occur overnight. They take many, many generations to happen in a process called evolution. Take the snakes we've been finding. Those snakes, over many, many generations, have evolved to survive in cold places. It all started when a few moved north because there was more space. But then it got cold. I mean really cold. And most froze to death. Except one. One snake had a gene that drove her to find a burrow made by another animal and escape the cold by spending the entire winter underground. Because she had that unusual gene, she survived the winter, and the next summer, she was in a great spot. Very healthy, and thus, she and lots of babies. Because genes are passed from parents to their offspring, the little snakes looked like their mom. And they had that same gene that allowed them to survive the winters by going underground. After many, many generations, that gene was found in all the snakes because they were the only ones that could survive the cold winters and have lots of babies.
So adaptations allow species to survive changing conditions, and then those adaptations are passed on to their babies. So snakes in cold climates have adapted to burrow underground during winter. But what about trees? Trees can't burrow underground or migrate south.
I bet you already know, but what do trees do as winter approaches?
Oh, they're changing color.
That's right. Trees that change color and drop their leaves are called deciduous. You might even have a deciduous tree in your backyard. Deciduous trees have green leaves in the summer to collect energy from the sun in a process called photosynthesis. In order for photosynthesis to work, each leaf is full of chlorophyll, which is green. But in the winter, when the days get shorter, the trees pull the green chlorophyll out of their leaves and store them in their roots, just like you'd store your swimsuit or beach ball.
And this adaptation to lose their leaves is because after many generations, the trees that had lost their leaves and saved their energy could produce more offspring.
Yep, winter is coming, and I'm glad plants and wildlife know what to do. I love winter because I get to sleep more and the bugs are all gone.
Well, it's a good thing that you love winter, because every day I see more birds migrating south, I see the leaves changing colors, there are less bugs for me to swat and less frogs for me to catch, and even the days themselves are getting shorter. So all of nature knows that winter's coming, and so do we. So we'll see you next time when we take 5 on the river.